Year! Hello, this is Carrie O'Donnell from Tarot Soul Writer. And if you would like a personal reading with me, please go to my website, tarotsoulwriter.com, and I would be happy to do a reading for you. Today, I am going to give you January's 2025 predictions, as well as some other predictions that are coming up throughout the year. This is a moment that I was hoping would be celebratory, that we would be looking at the new year and a new president in Kamala Harris. I really believed that that would be the outcome. At the time that I am recording this video on December 29th, life has gotten in the way of me completing my 2024 reflection videos. I know they weren't particularly viewed or very popular, but I am still going to continue to finish September through December as we move into the first week of the new year. I think that these reflective videos were very insightful for me, and I'm glad I have done them, and I am going to finish the process. I learned a lot. I'm discovering turning points in the energy that I wasn't aware of before. I feel like I'm more in tune with how I predict things, what certain things mean, how certain things can shift. I have found out my strengths and my weaknesses when it comes to prediction and psychic ability. And I really feel like we're in this very strange pocket or void where there were many different paths to the same outcome. Kind of like choose your own story, choose your own ending. I think that's how it was. And I think we've chosen. There's some little choices that I think still need to be made, little twists and turns that could possibly happen. But the reading I'm going to do today is after a month of morning meditations and asking some of the questions that I know you all want to know. I decided to focus on the United States and Trump, especially for January, because I really feel, at least right now, that's where our focus needs to be. I have decided to do the month-by-month predictions for 2025, just that, month to month. I'm not going to go too far ahead. We're going to do January today, and then you will get an overview from me for each month. And I feel this way I'll have more of a context of what's going on. That will be one change to how I do 2025 predictions this year. After I give you my January predictions, I am going to give you an overview of some happenings that I did pick up in 2025. And I'm going to go season by season because I feel like these particular events may be approximately in these months. And there could be some changes and some of those things could change. That's why I've decided to do that this way. But my predictions will be where I think the energy is flowing as of today. That said, I wasn't sure if this would be something I really want to do or to tell you, because frankly, it's not positive. Where I see the energy going is not positive. I am going to try to put the most positive spin on things that I can. My predictions are not to put you in fear, but to empower you to be prepared for what is to come. And with that said, I'm going to start with my soul writing session for January 2025. I began the soul writing session in early December. It was around December 3rd when I did the session. And as of today, my guides felt like this was still a relevant segment of my soul writing. I went into Joe Biden's energy, and my guides told me that the critical period for Joe Biden would be between January 1st and January 10th. I wrote I am resisting taking a leadership position on this matter, on this betrayal. Difficult choices are not clear. Explore. Go where you have never been before. New beginnings. Believe in your calling. It could be a lonely path. It is unknowable, like death. Trust. Surrender. Relinquish control. Blank at the end, blank at the beginning. This is fate. Destiny rises for you like a phoenix from the ashes. How do you control what is not yet formed? It is an act of courage. Leap into the void. Take heart. What do you choose? And then I wrote, Archangel Michael says, courage, do not be afraid. In this segment, I feel like Biden's energy was teetering on a decision. It begins, I resist taking a leadership role on this matter, on this betrayal. This implies that up to the January 1st period, they already know or have some knowledge of a betrayal, whether this is election interference, whether this is something else related to Donald Trump, we don't know. But they are aware of some sort of matter that is significant to the transition of the presidency. Biden is resistant on acting on that information. The conversation that ensues seems to be from his guides or his inner consciousness. Sort of like, well, we don't know all the facts. There's some unknowable things here. This is unprecedented. I don't know if I want to be that guy. It's a lonely path. No one is going to like me. It might ruin my legacy, like that type of thing. And his consciousness or his guides were saying, this is your destiny. You need to trust the process. You need to explore avenues that presidents have never gone down before based on this information. And Archangel Michael specifically said, courage, man. It's kind of like, get it together. That's basically what I saw there. And then he makes a decision and he says, we will attempt to overcome difficulties, delay the rite of passage. I wanted so much for the U.S. that never got off the ground. Our foreign adversaries had ulterior motives. I have been wrestling with the demon. Wisdom and experience are needed now to bring back harmony, a peaceful ending before I lay this experience to rest and transition. A final tribute. Communication goes dark. Remember, there is healing after the storm. In this section, I feel Biden makes a decision. He's delaying the rite of passage. I believe the delay of the rite of passage is possibly the delay of the inauguration. I'm trying to figure out, like, how would this happen in reality? Does he have the power to do that? Technically, no, but he does have immunity, so he might do something. Maybe this is what's unprecedented. Maybe he postpones the rite of passage until something can be investigated. Then there's the idea of what's going on in the House. Do they have trouble electing a speaker? Is that part of this? Is there a delay in the rite of passage because of the House of Representatives? Is there another event that happens that delays it, something that's big? I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like it's a decision Biden makes, and the energy is a strong potential that the inauguration might be slightly delayed. There's something about him with regrets. I've been wrestling with the demon. Is this Putin? Is this Trump? Is this some other adversary? Is this China? I mean, I don't know. We have a lot of adversaries. There are a lot of demons out there. For entertainment purposes only, this is only my opinion. But yeah, let's just say figuratively, there are a lot of demons out there. And he wanted to do so much more for America. But he feels like this is his final tribute. Before I lay this experience to rest, he says, before I leave the office, I have to do at least this thing. That line, communication goes dark. And then it's almost like someone whispers, remember, there is healing after the storm. It's almost like there's this moment. Maybe it's spies. Maybe it's something international. I'm not 100% knowing what's going down here, but there seems to be some sort of collecting of information. Secretly, there is a moment in which we don't know how things are going to go. So there's a lot of suspense. Like I feel like I'm in the middle of an action movie, right? And there's that moment where communication goes dark. What will happen? It's like going to the dark side of the moon and then having to come back in the light. Then I heard, luck reveals communication, treachery in the stars, news, announcement, karma comes back around, the truth is revealed. And then I saw an interesting image of the 1980 Olympic Games. 1980, I was 14 years old. For those people who are a lot younger than me and don't understand what happened in the 1980 Winter Olympic Games, let me just paint a picture of the world briefly. There is no internet. There is no social media. There aren't even really home computers at this point, not in everybody's home. I know in my town, cable TV was just coming around, and my home didn't have cable TV in 1980. There are only 3 networks, ABC, NBC, and CBS, and we had UHF, things like PBS. And the only way we got that is if we had our rabbit ears, and we got a really good signal. That one was a little fuzzy. We had a big, giant TV in our den. It was like a piece of furniture. And this was a time period when the Olympic Games were still a collective worldwide event. There was no regular programming for a couple weeks, and each day we would watch the games. I was keeping a scrapbook of all the happenings. How many gold medals did the US get? How many did Russia get? The big event of the 1980 Olympic Games was the US hockey team going for the gold medal. They were a bunch of college kids in the days before professionals were allowed in the Olympic Games. It was very controversial because Russia really had their professional skaters that they called not professional back then. It didn't seem fair. All these scrappy kids, and then you had pretty much a professional hockey team that won all the time. Well, it got to the end, and each night you'd watch a game, and we got closer and closer to the gold, and here it was. We were going to play the Russians for the gold medal. There's no way we were going to win. No way. How does this bunch of scrappy kids win against the Russian hockey team? The game was one of the most watched games in American history. And then my guide showed me that moment. You heard the buzzer for the goal. The crowd cheers and you hear the announcer say, "Do you believe in miracles?" It was an amazing moment because it went into our whole mythology. America, the underdog, fighting the evil empire and winning. Just like we fought the British, we always come up from nothing and we win. And my guide showed me that scene. Do you believe in miracles? So I'm wondering, and I kept asking, does that mean US against Russia? Can we make it through? Is there a miracle goal in the last few seconds? Does America find its core mythology of working hard together to win against all odds? I don't know, because of what comes next. I don't know if it's us winning or I just picked up the energy that potentially this information that comes through in the last moment gives us that hope. Maybe there will be a miracle. Unfortunately, as I continued the soul writing session, I'm not sure that that's what this vision means. I did write, information gets revealed. He is guilty of misappropriating money. He, is this Elon Musk? Is it Donald Trump? I heard we present a Trojan horse. Delay. Act with caution. This is important because I think what it says to me is that information comes to light that has some sort of direct evidence. I think before it's like we know there was a betrayal, but we don't have the evidence. Then it's like miracle. Oh my God, maybe that's it. Do you believe in miracles? Oh my God. We have the information. We have the evidence. Information is revealed. There's a very strong possibility that maybe this is Jack Smith's report that comes out, or there's some other information that is given out. It doesn't even have to be from the US. It could be from our allies. Maybe that's the miracle. But there's delays again. We present a Trojan horse. We're trying to trick them in some way. We're delaying something. We're playing some sort of game. Then I get Trump. I write, he is stuck mentally and physically, refusing to make a move. So pompous and rigid, trying to get away with something. He'll do anything to get what he wants, including violence. He perceives everything from within with no external verification. Dogmatism. And then I heard news of a disaster. I saw Sherlock Holmes, and I wrote, Sherlock Holmes reveals Russian falsities. Covert actions are revealed. Delays, a change of plans. He is caught at the border. This is a dead end. I'm left holding the bag, a trap. People are jumping ship and leaving me behind. For big money manipulation, we don't trust his commitment. I am not happy about a public revelation or disclosure. I need to escape. I'm trapped. What should I do? News of a disaster. Sherlock Holmes was interesting because Sherlock Holmes was British. I even wrote, does this mean Britain? Does Britain reveal some Russian falsities, some kind of Russian lies or Russian manipulation? Covert actions are revealed. This could be something from our allies. I think that that's really important, that this might be an investigation from Britain or somewhere within NATO. This idea he is caught at the border. This is a dead end. I'm left holding the bag. Is there a third party here? Is this something that someone in Europe or someone in Russia that's left holding the bag? Is there someone that reveals the truth? Someone who's not in the United States? Or is this Elon Musk himself? He is caught at the border. This is a dead end. I'm left holding the bag, a trap. Remember my Elon Musk video, Et tu, Brute? Does Trump leave him holding the bag? Is there a setup? Is the Trojan horse from Biden more to get Elon? Was he the first person to get? We'll have to see, but there does seem to be some movement here to catch someone. And then I heard there is a confession, a diagnosis of ill health. A public statement is made. I felt like this might have something to do with Trump, a confession, but the way I saw it wasn't like a confession like, I did it. Or, I mean, I don't know, maybe with Trump, he is kind of like that. But if someone else was caught and he realized, oh, this person, for example, Musk, for entertainment purposes only, was doing something illegal, it almost felt like, I confess, I was working with him, but I didn't have anything to do with it. And, oh, by the way, I've been kind of working on my health. I'm not doing well. And the reason I say that is there seems to be some sort of ruse here on Trump's part, because that's what it said in the beginning. So pompous and rigid, trying to get away with something. And that's when Kamala comes in. And she says, this is a tower moment, a shakeup in the White House. I am weakened and out of balance. I am trying to hold on to a sinking ship. We are cutting through to the truth. And he escapes through bad health? I want judgment. I want justice. The future is stalled. We need a swift action of power. I am conflicted between my desires and tradition. We are overthrowing a leader, overthrowing the establishment. There's time here that's of the essence. It's like certain things have to happen quickly. We're running out of time. We've delayed some things, but we're running out of time. There's pressure. And I feel like there's some manipulation, like we have to keep going because of Trump's health, or he wasn't involved, or there's something here where Trump is whittling out of something once again. And she's like, we were so close. We're so close to getting to the whole truth. I want him held accountable. I feel like I'm alone trying to resurrect a sinking ship. I want justice. But the next segment shows that's not what we get. I wrote, Biden is too slow, takes his time. It is too late. He decides to sacrifice himself in some way. I am giving up rulership. The world no longer operates according to my expectations. I will focus all my efforts on dominating a tiny niche or sphere of influence. I sink into decline. An empire comes crashing down. The crown falls. Tears. Whatever this was, whatever this information is, whatever this plan was, it was executed too late. It was a Hail Mary. Maybe what they wanted was, do you believe in miracles? Maybe that's what they wanted. But what my guides show me is it's a miss. He can't hold it back. He basically says, I'm going to give up rulership. So if he was holding onto the fort for a little bit of a delay, it's a small delay. And then he relinquishes control. Let's proceed with the inauguration. Or if there isn't delays anymore and the energy went a different way, I feel like this could be read as, I'm ready to step down. I love how he says, the world no longer operates according to my expectations. Because Biden expects the best. He expects the world to work like it used to, for good or bad, and it does not. An empire comes crashing down. The crown falls. Tears. I feel like this is the end of America as we know it. I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying that by the end of January, I get Trump inaugurated as president. The empire falls and will never be the same. It's the end of a cycle. This is the card that I chose that represents January in the United States. The Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords energy. And I wrote, the world is falling apart. Ruin, betrayal, mass insanity, madness and torment, catastrophe. I pinned my faith on you and you betrayed me. A new day is dawning. There are tears, grievances, pain, and sadness. Shattered. Efforts are futile. Why did you wait so long? I feel like the line, I pinned my faith on you and you betrayed me, could be representative of many Democrats who are really hoping that Biden would hold Trump accountable. But he does not. I feel the tears and feeling shattered and feeling like the world is just going to fall apart is just collectively how everyone is feeling worldwide as Trump is inaugurated as the next president. We tried so hard, right? Our efforts were futile. We tried to vote. We tried to be active. We tried to give money. We did, as the people, everything that we needed to do. But the people in power, yes, including Biden, didn't do enough. And I feel like collectively, that's what a lot of people will be thinking on that day. I feel like this next paragraph could represent the energy around the speech given at the inauguration. I wrote exaggerated regal tendencies, arrogant, autocratic, dictatorial. He makes a commandment with no humanity. Power, ego, vanity. What a show. He is all riled up, throwing a temper tantrum, seeking to cause pain. So I feel like his inauguration speech isn't so much about the country as it is a laundry list of his grievances and his complaints and how he's going to get back at everyone. It is going to be a horrible day. Then I heard, NATO, our allies, don't trust us. They are ending or cutting communication. So I don't feel like this is completely, because I don't get that NATO is abandoning us at this point. But by cutting communication, I feel like this is intelligence. So they are no longer giving important intelligence to the United States because Trump is in power. He's their enemy. So we can't trust him with that kind of intelligence information. So in some ways, we're being shut out of communication. We are stabilizing breaches. This rite of passage is atypical. There are delays. Defenses are weakened by dangerous liaisons. We are stabilizing breaches and an atypical inauguration. There are delays. Defenses are weakened. I don't think we're going to see a typical inauguration with crowds and maybe even not public or in the same place. Maybe this is done inside. Maybe they have to beaten up security. However this happens, however he is inaugurated president, it is not done in a typical or traditional way. As we end the month, I get, there are tears. We are leaving a legacy of abuse, the drama, the chaos, the shit show. In the aftermath, a rigid patriarchy and hierarchy comes to an end, a final end. We are trying to regain what was lost, but times have changed. Our eyes are wide open. We are processing emotions. This is the sad reality of the situation. I don't know what's ahead. There is no happy ending here. A gray month. We are with you. This is the path to a higher vibration. Now, this ending was rather confusing to me because it says we are leaving a legacy of abuse and drama and chaos, that the rigid patriarchy and hierarchy is coming to an end. We're at the end of a cycle. And yet, my guides seem to have left me with the patriarchy establishing power. Maybe this is us trying to regain what was lost. But they say times have changed. As we process these emotions, as we move forward, all we can do is know that this is not going to last. That's what I feel like this message was about. This is not going to last. The energy will not hold this. But how this will twist and turn, like it said here, there is no happy ending. And I don't know what's ahead. But it's like Spirit said, don't worry, we walk with you. We're with you, and that this is a path for us to a higher vibration. It is the path that we chose. And all I can say is the way it ended kind of leaves the door open for some other possibilities here. Is the end of patriarchy the fact that maybe Trump doesn't get in? Maybe these delays do lead to that miracle. I can't say that that possibility is off the table. But I have to go with right now, I see him inaugurated, and the reason being is what comes ahead. I asked Spirit for an overview of some of the happenings that were coming up for us in 2025. And most of the things that I saw seemed more in line with Trump being president, however short a time that may be. In the winter period, which at this point would be the month of February, I get this very strange and dark void, kind of like the calm before the storm. There's some withdrawal into solitude. Spirit says, find the natural rhythms of your body and soul. Maintain privacy. What is the deeper significance, the spiritual purpose of your life? I seek the middle way. I avoid extremes. The future is blank. And then I saw Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood when he says, look for the helpers. And then Spirit said, you need to accept these lessons and learn. I do see Kamala Harris. She came into my vision for February, and she has some significance in February. I'm not sure if maybe this is the possibility of her taking office, or if that she has some role in the resistance in February. I'm not sure, but I did see her specifically in that month. This is a period in the winter where executive orders are probably going to happen rapidly. And Trump has no F's to give. The courts made him pretty much king, and he knows that he's not held accountable. So he will do executive orders even on things that we know are illegal. Even if they are, by the time people take him to court and go through the process and so forth, he already knows that he can get done whatever he needs done, and he can just keep delaying things and delaying justice indefinitely. Let's face it, that's what he's done. And that's probably what he'll continue to do. In the spring, these executive orders, I believe it's where we really feel them. It's where the common people feel what he's doing directly. It takes like a month. And I did write March is a critical month. Dishonesty and deception will be revealed, covert skills, spies, and news. So more of what may have gone on behind the scenes may come up in the news or internationally. I feel like this is more international at this point, but there'll be more revelations of what he's done wrong and what he may be continuing to do wrong. I heard Trump and Putin, and I heard the song Friendship, Friendship, just the perfect blendship. I think it's a super old song, and I think Lucy and Ethel used to sing it on I Love Lucy. That came right after dishonesty and deception are revealed. So it may be about their alleged friendship and collaboration. I got claiming victories over new terrain. I did ask specifically about Panama Canal and Greenland. I did not get them taken by Donald Trump in any way. So this claiming victories over new territory could be rhetoric that shows up in this spring time period. It also could be Putin taking land from Ukraine. I got the stock market will have a fall around this time period. I saw Robin Hood. Take from the rich and give to the poor. We are shortchanged, denied our rights, disparity of power, economic power, financial expectations do not materialize. Get rich schemes. Do me a favor with strings attached. Misappropriations of money. It is never enough for them. Denying charity. So greedy. So selfish. So I do feel like we're going to have a lot of economic unrest in the spring. I feel like the stock market is going to take a fall or a tumble in that time period. And I feel like this is the moment where the poor, whether that is MAGA or Democratic, are all experiencing the same reality. Food is expensive. Gas is expensive. Any of the problems economically that they had in the past is going to be continued and worse, especially with the economy taking a dip. And that reality of the greed of the 1% is going to be very apparent. Then I got, we did not hit our target. And I felt like this was a possible exit point for Trump. I do feel like there's a danger of either a health event or something worse, where someone tries to eliminate him. And I did feel like this was a possible exit point in the spring. So we'll have to see what happens, but I continue the reading as if he's still here. I also got that in March, the spread of a virus, and it just makes sense that this virus would be H5N1, the bird flu, just because of what's in the news right now. And I feel like this is really going to start to take off in the early spring, like in the month of March. So like late winter, early spring. I'm not getting it as bad as COVID. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not getting it that bad. But I am getting that it's definitely going human to human by this time period. I got, we come together, two unlike things, looking for solutions, bridging gaps, correcting imbalances and reconciling opposing belief, moderation, management. Believe it or not, this could be Congress, two unlike things. It could be the Congress and the Senate. Maybe we are actually surprised that even though they are Republican, there may be a lot of super huge happenings that are not good and a lot of public pressure. So they might actually be trying to work together to manage things or to find some sort of middle way. I also got, for the love of women, there could be some agreements on women's rights in the spring. For the love of women. Maybe this has to do with the Equal Rights Amendment. I'm not sure when Biden will actually leave because I got this like weird delay, but I feel like maybe before he leaves, that's why the time period's a little iffy here, but there is something done for the love of women. So this very well could be the Equal Rights Amendment that is pushed through. Spirit says, be and act in love during this spring time period. It's a lot's going to shake up, but it's the summer that's the worst. So I'm going to prepare you now. The summer is not good. The first thing they said was a shock, autocrat, dictator, insists on his authority, bluster, show, one-upsmanship. The bully with no humanity, he seeks to overthrow a leader, manifest destiny. And then someone said, this is a shit show. I don't know if this is actually Trump. This could be Putin. Who is he trying to overthrow? Is he trying to overthrow Trump? Is he trying to overthrow Zelensky or some other leader? I mean, it could be Trump, manifest destiny. Let's take Greenland. Panama Canal is mine. Canada is the 51st state. But it could be Putin too. So we'll have to see what happens here. And then I heard we have to have a higher perspective now. We are more sensitive to the journeys of others. There is a meeting. They are making an agreement. Conquest. And I saw a conquistador. Everything figuratively is going up in flames. I see pirates. They are pillaging. The point of no return. I feel like this overthrowing a leader, and I even asked, because I saw a conquistador. So you have this element of Spanish or Portuguese. So it would make sense that maybe we're talking about Mexico. Is Trump trying to strong arm the leader of Mexico? Is this the show, the one-upsmanship? Are there threats going down that way? There seems to be more energy down there during the summer period. And there is an agreement. I think it has to do with trade because I even looked up, like we know conquistadors were the explorers and they basically raped, pillaged, and took whatever they wanted. But their main mission was to establish new territory and new trade routes. So I feel like this agreement has something to do with trade in the midst of what's going to happen with immigration. I see pirates there pillaging. So this may have something to do with Trump and the administration just taking what they want. And that leads to my next word, because they said immigration. There is despair and hopelessness. People feel trapped. Some people bury their heads in the sand. This can't be happening. Disguise, hiding, camouflaging a laborer. There is no duplicity here. I see Anne Frank. I trusted you, and now I'm left with nothing. Work is left undone. Travel bans that affect everyone. So this is where the immigration policies in the summer period are really going to come to a head. It's not going to be pleasant. I think Trump is making threats to Mexican leadership, might be threatening to take her out. But then there's some trade agreement. The pillaging, I mean, not only could that be related to Mexico, but it could be related to the immigrants, like the Japanese. When the Japanese were put in internment camps, their property was just taken by the government and sold. We might be seeing things happening here with the immigrants. I don't think it's just going to be people with a criminal record. I think they're going to go after anyone who is illegal, even if they had permission to be here. I don't think it's going to be good. And I think there's going to be a lot of stealing of people's personal property. I think there's going to be a lot of despair and hopelessness in communities that are really susceptible to large-scale arrests or immigration roundups. And I also think there are going to be other areas where people turn a blind eye, like, I can't deal with this. I can't watch this on TV, heads in the sand. This can't be happening. There's going to be a lot of shock about how this is going down. This disguise, hiding and camouflaging a laborer. And I saw Anne Frank. So we know that the Franks were hidden to save them. And I kind of felt like there were people who had immigrant labor, especially farmers, farm labor, who are literally trying to hide or disguise their labor force. There's no duplicity here. I'm not faking it. There could be a lot of fake papers, a lot of hiding people, a lot of like Underground Railroad kind of situation in order to get labor into the fields. And they were, the farmers especially, I felt like rural America especially, they were horrified. Like, the guy supported you and you left me holding the bag. You left me with nothing. You know, my fields are rotting out there. Work is left undone. Now what do I do? So a lot of people were trying to hide laborers that they needed. And when I wrote travel bans that affect everyone, some of this might have to do with weather, but I know this is going to be hard for people to hear, but don't be surprised if there are some countries that you always felt were allies to America that closed their borders for a short period to Americans. That's kind of what I felt. I don't know what particular nations these are, but I do feel like traveling from country to country the way Americans have, especially throughout Europe or Canada or Mexico, it might not be like that in the summer because of what's happening. It's almost like a protest or counteraction to how Americans are acting right now. And it's going to affect everyone. The world is upside down. We have to put things back in order to solve problems. I wrote the virus and flu is still an issue, and Trump is also vulnerable for some sort of health event related to his heart area in the summer period. So if he makes it through the spring, he's still susceptible in the summer. Flu is still an issue. And I think at the end of the summer period, we are finally realizing that we have to put this chaos in order or we're in really big trouble. Like right now, everything's falling apart. That brings us to the fall. There was less information on the fall, and it may be because we have to figure out how we deal with all of those events. But I did write, we are drained, empty, negative feelings. It has all changed. A downturn in the economy, trying to find stability, trying to find a new start. We need courage. There is no leadership, or they're ineffectual. I see a fall. This may be literal or figurative, a betrayal, but after this, money will start to flow again. November is a critical month. There will be issues around women, motherhood, birth, in this time period. Community involvement is the key to building a new and strong foundation. The resistance is delayed, prolonging pain and distress. Pessimism. We emerge from the darkness. Death. We walk as if asleep. Everything is at a standstill. We are out of balance. So as the year comes to an end, it seems like we don't really have a strong pocket of resistance. I think there are people like us in the spiritual community who just, in essence, go underground. We detach. We take care of ourselves and our family. So we're not really fully engaged. And those who are in power have just been beaten down at this point. I think the country is beaten down at this point. 2025 is a huge slap in the face for most Americans. It's a wake-up call. Who are we? What do we really want? Who do we want to be? We end at a standstill, a turning point. I asked Spirit for a final message for this year, and there's something I want to actually read that they pointed out from one of my cards. I used the mystical shaman oracle to help me with a final message, and I just pulled the coyote card backwards. I felt like this passage of the book fit the situation perfectly, and I really felt called to read it in its entirety. It says, coyote is the symbol of the sacred trickster, the one who provides detours for growth and understanding by ensuring that things don't go as planned. The coyote brings the energy of divine deception to set you free from the shackles of that which doesn't serve you. Sometimes it appears that you will get everything you want, only to find that coyote brings you the opposite of what you hoped for. The lessons offered by coyote may at first appear confusing, but they are most sacred and always for your highest good. Because it is reversed, which in this deck means medicine, what we need to take in. This is a lesson about shiny and beautiful things that look good from afar and we think we want them, but do we really want them? That's what this card is symbolizing. We have to rethink what is true and good for us. And there is some sense of evaluation here. I really feel like this is especially so for MAGA. They thought they wanted a certain thing, but there's a reevaluation. There's a lesson to be learned here with coyote. I wrote, be independent. Government will not be there for you like in the past. It is time to stand on your own 2 feet and support your communities. You must remain active, engaged. Keep your vibration high. Get on top of the problems. And of course, I had to have a Star Wars image, but they gave me the image of the Star Wars movie where Luke and Leia had fallen into the garbage chute and the walls were coming in and they're trying to get on top of the garbage. Like, let's get on top so we don't sink down and get crushed by the walls. So get on top of the problems, get on top of the garbage, go to a higher perspective, even though the walls are coming in. This is not the time for lethargy. They said to keep things simple. Notice the world as if seeing it for the first time. There will be unexpected wonder this year. You will release much. What you lose, you never needed. Do not resist. Hunker down. I see the scene from the movie The 10 Commandments, 1956. So Yul Brynner, Charlton Heston. And the reason I'm saying the movie is because that's the scene I saw. And I think that the words that were spoken here aren't necessarily from the Bible, but they were from the film. It's the scene, I think Charlton Heston, the Moses' character, makes reference that the last plague will come from the Pharaoh's own mouth. So he projects that all of the firstborn of the slaves should die. But in fact, by speaking that, he just put the curse on himself. So they were instructed to put the lamb's blood over their houses. So when the angel of death came, their firstborns were spared, but those of Egypt would perish. It's a horrible story. Even the actual story in the Bible, it's horrible. But it's funny that Spirit would show that to me in conclusion, because they curse themselves. Karma comes back around, right? What they say will happen to others might happen to them. It's irony, it's karma. And how do we get through that? We'll detach from that. Go into your houses, figuratively put lamb's blood over it. I'm going to live in a higher perspective. I'm going to focus on my family. I'm going to be as independent as possible. If I can grow my own food, great. If I can, great. If I can hunt, great. I'm going to not spend as much. I'm going to save all I can. And when I'm really in trouble, I'm going to reach out to the smaller communities, because these smaller communities are going to help each other and fill in the gaps when you don't have a skill or when you don't have the resources. We will take care of each other. Don't engage. Don't engage with them, because they are going to curse themselves. Their energy that comes out of their mouths figuratively is just coming back onto them. To avoid suffering, you need to disengage from that. I wish I had happier news for 2025. I will say that because there were some contradictory statements for January, I'm not going to rule out that something could go forward. I feel like the critical period is between January 1st and 10th. After that, it's over. That's kind of how I feel. And it might be that something comes out, but it's just too late. It's too late to stop what is already moving forward. I just don't feel the energy stopping what is coming. I don't think my guides would have shown me all of these horrible events if Kamala was getting into power. So it's best we understand the reality of the situation. As I had said in my own family, I am preparing for the worst and I am hoping for the best. Know that we will stick together and I'll be here for people. And that is my reading for January and a brief outlook on what's to come in the year 2025. Stay tuned. We're going to work on February at the end of the month. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video with all your friends. As always, it's a pleasure reading for you. Bye-bye.